Assalamu alaikum. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli waj'al li wazira min ahli Haruna akhi ushdud bihi azri washriku fi amri kay nusabbihaka kaseera wa nazkuraka kaseera. Innaka kunta bina basira. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Welcome friends, inshallah we will continue reading from the words. We are on the 22nd word on page 296 on the 11th proof. So we went over the last 10 proofs and we briefly touched upon the footnote of this proof. I mean, this is kind of a continuation of the verses. Let me see the verse. I will share it with you. So yeah, these two. In the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate. So God sets forth parables for men so that they may bear them in mind. Such are the similitudes which we propound to them, so that to men that they may reflect. So Quran sections 14 verse 25 as well as section 59 verse 21. So we went through all these proofs in terms of seeing as a individual who's born into this world. As the example he gave, that two men were washing in a pool and then as if they opened their eyes for the first time. So as a human being, especially when I reached the age of maturity, which was the last proof that we read, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so this proof, which started on, when you, 15 days, which signified the age of discretion. As a human being, I should have those questions and wonder, what am I doing? What is my life here? And all these 10 proofs that the author was sharing was basically all the acts going on in the universe, just going and seeing the different qualities, the different things happening in the universe and what they tell as a human being. And here now in the 11th proof, I think he's going to switch a little bit to go to the prophetic message. So we did start and we did discuss a little bit, as I said, on the footnote, and we thought that it was, we don't have to go back in history. We discussed that a little bit. We went into the Hajj, that you have to go in physical terms as well to commemorate the prophetic message and how to practice that message. But let's see how we'll start reading and then we'll continue on discussing. So 11th proof, come, my friend. Now I shall show you a decisive proof, as powerful as the 10 previous ones. So the 10 previous ones, which he talked about, were mostly on the universe, as he was highlighting all the manifestations, the qualities, the art that you see, and you wonder about it. Can it be happening by itself? Or there must be a conscious one that has knowledge, will, power, qualities that brings things into existence. So we shall board a boat and sail to a peninsula far away. For the key to this riddle-filled world, so the key to this riddle-filled world will be there. I thought this phrase was very interesting. So the world shows many things, many aspects. There are wonderful things going on. Things make sense, sometimes it doesn't make sense. You don't know sometimes what is going to happen. So there's a lot of riddle-filled world, and then there's a key to this riddle-filled world that is needed. So moreover, everyone is looking to that peninsula and awaiting something from it. They are receiving orders from there. So there's some instructions that are coming from this other 11th proof that he is talking about, that going to the era of the messengership. So in the messengership, there is the key to the riddle of this world. See, we are going there. So now in his imagination, he's going there. Now we have arrived and have alighted on the peninsula. There is a vast gathering, a great concourse, as though all the important people of the country have gathered there. Look carefully, this great community has a leader. Come, we shall draw closer. We must become acquainted with him. Look, what brilliant decorations he has. More than 1,000 of them. So he's talking about the leaders and the decorations. It's a footnote. Let me increase this a little bit so we can see the footnote. The decoration, the 1,000 decorations are the miracles of Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, which according to those who have investigated them, reach nearly 1,000. So many miracles to show that he was indeed a messenger employed by the Lord of the universe. So brilliant decorations he has, more than 1,000 of them. How powerfully he speaks. How pleasant is his conversation. In these 2 weeks, I have learned a little of what he says. You learn them from me. See, he is speaking of this country's miracle displaying king. He is saying that the glorious king sent him to us. The glorious king sent him to us. So he was sent by the glorious king. And he is displaying such wonders that they leave no doubt that he is his special envoy. So this leader, this one who is speaking, who's conveying the message, is his special envoy. Look carefully. It is not only the creatures on this peninsula that are listening to what he says. Oh, interesting. Not only the creatures of this peninsula that are listening to what he says, he is making the whole country hear in wondrous fashion. For near and far, everyone is trying to hear the speech here. It is not only humans that are listening, animals are listening too. Look, even the mountains are listening to the commands he brought, so that they are stirring in their places. And the trees too move to the place that he indicates. So just to recap a little bit from what I understood from this. So the message that he's talking about is also highlighting the whole universe. telling what the qualities point to. And not just human beings are getting it, but also the whole universe, including the animals, plants. I recall last time we understood that, we said the author made a point about the universe testifying to the oneness of God, la ilaha illallah, and now here he's sort of making the claim that they're also saying Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah also, as each and every being in the universe is also benefiting from the message in terms of their rights are being declared in the message that they belong as signs to the Lord of the universe. 1 second. Okay. So now look, even the mountains are listening to the commands he brought, so that they are stirring in their places, and the trees too move to the place that he indicates. I think he's indicating some of the miracles that were witnessed by the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. Brother Ali, please go ahead.
Well, there are interesting things are going on here. First of all, we have to make clear that the king, miracle displaying king, as an example, this is what this parable requires to describe it in this way. But we have to, we need to understand that this glorious king is Malik, the creator, who owns and rules. Malik means owns and rules. Malik means only owns. But Malik is owns and rules and maintains his ruling. That is the continuous. Malik, Rahim, Rahman in this word. Rahim, continuous mercy, Rahmat. Now, Malik in the Quranic, Malik al-Quddus, you know the verse. So this Malik is representative, the glorious king. That is one problem to apparently that needs to be solved, as far as I understand. But someone may say, we have to be careful here. I said Malik. In the Quran, that there is no Malik, but there is Malik, as it is used. It means that not Malik, but Malik. This is, I don't know why Quran uses etymologically rather than Malik, although the other names, Rahim, Halim, Rajim, Kareem, Alim, this form continues always. But why doesn't the Quran use Malik? Frankly, I don't know. But as opposed to Malik, it is Malik. I understand it refers to ownership, and it is also commonly accepted by the commentaries on the Quran. Owns plus reigns over the universe. It means it maintains the order. That is one look to the problem of translation, but there is no other way to describe it. I'm not blaming the translator. So on the following page, something is going on, describing the prophet. And the prophet demonstrates miracles and says, the text says, it is not only humans that are listening, 5th line, animals are listening too, the mountains are listening too, the commands he brought, so that they are listening to the commands he brought. Trees and other creatures are listening to. This is very important for me to understand the nature of miracles or the narrations of miracles about the prophet. It means miracles of the prophet. It is essential. We have to understand the purpose of miracle is there in historical context. But in historical context means, let's talk about it. Let's not hurry, if you don't mind, that we should read more. Let's talk about this problem. Why does or do the prophets display miracles? Of course, created by God. We all know this. They don't really do it. But why God creates the universe and the prophets in this way? What is the wisdom in giving to the prophets the miracles, giving the prophets miracles? First of all, in their time present people, contemporaries, need miracle. Otherwise, they would never trust the prophet. That is their right. As a human being, I wouldn't believe a person comes and tells me, I received a message. It is quite human to be suspicious. So God must prove or provide evidence. God must provide evidence for the people who are there, encourage them, saying that, look, this man is not acting on its own. The creator of the universe has employed it. So it is when we understand that these people has the right, but that is the step one. Now, what is it to do for me now in 21st century? This is the point now. Here, in the narrations of the miracles, we see that the Prophet Muhammad, all of the prophets as well, but detailed narration about the miracles of the Prophet. Animals listened to him, to his message, and mountains listened, and trees, other elements of the creation were subject to the miracles. In this way, we have to look at the wisdom in it. First of all, we read narrations about it, and not really very essential to hear the narrations, to know the narrations, because we are not really introduced to the prophet at first, and also Quran is complete now. So we are expected to be convinced about the truthfulness of the message of the Quran and truthfulness of the messenger of the Quran, the one who brought the message to me. These are centered around the Quran. So we can study the Quran and say, a person brought it to me and he said, this is from God. Let me see if it is from God. Otherwise, I cannot believe in what the Quran says in it, the content of the Quran, as to be true. I cannot believe it because I believe that the narrations of miracles demonstrate that this man was an extraordinary man, employed by God. But how can I believe in angels? How can I believe in other, for example, divine determining? How can I believe that God spoke? I have to investigate it. How can I believe that the universe is a melik? It means an owner. The whole universe is an owner, and it is ruling and maintaining its existence and managing with its affairs. How can I believe in it? Quran shows the way. And then if I am aware of the evidence that the Quran presents to me, I can confirm it. But if somebody demonstrates something miraculous to me and says angels exist, where is it? I don't know. Because I say, look. If I don't believe in it, this man is, what is he doing? He is just ordering something, and then from his fingers, river runs. Oh, there may be a problem for me if I don't believe in it. So what did you believe? Angels. I believe that there are angels. Why? Well, obvious, man. This man said so. Is it belief or it is narration? It is knowledge. That is very important. We are missing this. Muslim community are missing this. In general, exceptions, yeah, inshallah, there are. So that is, we understand that we cannot believe in the content of the Quran because the one who brought to us demonstrated miracles. Although it is a narration, most of them are disputed. That is something else. But there must be some such things. Not all of them, but there must be some miracles. That is sure. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that the content is confirmed. I have to work on it. So I have to take the Quran seriously. Oh, this man is narrated such and such miracles, and he brought this book and claimed it is from God. Oh, really? Let me see. What does it say? This is important. Believing in miracles in and of itself is not important. But it's a starting point. Take it as a starting point and pay attention to the Prophet, Quranic message. That is in the life of the Prophet also was the fact. The Prophet was approved by God and presented to people as somebody needs to be taken seriously. Pay attention what he says. What he said? The Quran. So listen to the Quran. Every miracle is nothing but an invitation to pay attention to the message. We have to understand this. Otherwise, we will be playing a role as if we solved the Imam problem just because we believed in the miracles. Narrations. Even the Prophet was here, performed the miracle in front of me. What does it mean? I would take this person seriously and listen to him, what he says. What he says, animals, mountains. I am taking the examples here. Trees, water are witnesses to the truth of his message. But do I have to hear a ghost to speak to me? Ghost, an animal ghost. Ghost, isn't it? Am I pronouncing it wrongly? Not ghost, but isn't that called ghost? Animal? Somebody?
Uh,
What do you mean by ghost?
Animal ghost, like sheep.
Oh, goat?
Goat, yeah, that I thought there was something wrong. Thank you, goat, goat. Yeah, goat, or sheep, let's say sheep. Is then in the subject of the miracle, obeyed the prophet and started speaking. What does it mean? Now for me, I have to take goat as an evidence to the claim or the message of the prophet. It means the Quran. That is why Muslim community in general made an or came or arrived at a consensus saying that the Prophet Muhammad's living miracle is the Quran. Correct, to my understanding. So I have to look at the goat. I have to look at the mountain. I have to look at water. I have to look at what else? Trees, plants, and are they under the command of the one who gave miracle to the prophet as his messengership, but I have to use it as an evidence to confirm the content of the message in the Quran. So I have to transfer it to my practical life now. Take the miracles mentioned in the miracles, narrations of the prophetic miracles, and go to the Quran, study the Quran. It says, look how this universe is created. Look how the animals are created. أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبِلِ. So you can say, why don't you look at the camel? Now, here I am in front of a goat. Why don't you look at the goat and see who can create it, who can make it, who can employ it to your service? What did matter itself employ this animal? Another animal really eats up human beings. Camel serves human being. Who arranged this? If by looking at the goat or camel here, a goat or a tree, I have to see the content of the Quran and analyze it and confirm it. That is why narrations of the Quran, miracles of Prophet, we have to know it, learn, read once and say, this kind of things are narrated about, but this must be utilized in order to confirm the content of the Quran. I think I could make sense for you. This transition from immersing ourselves in miraculous narrations and coming to the Quran. And how? That is how we are, I understand and I shared with you. This is very important. Otherwise, I wouldn't take this much time. Thank you.
Jazakallah, Brother Ali. So I had a question basically. So this author is presenting the miracles, as he says, about the prophetic, they're tied together. The miracles and the prophethood of any prophet, could be any prophet, but in this case, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. And your point is that whatever the miracles are is to, as an invitation, I like that part, to see, study his message, whatever he's claiming. So all the things that were used to perform miracles, I can investigate them. So the animals, I can look into the mountains and see what the message that they bring to me. So is that the case that all the time this is related? The miracles, of course, at the contemporary time is for them, for me, it doesn't apply anymore. I don't see the miracles in me, but the study of the message, I can do that. And that's the missing part you were saying in terms of how in just believing in the miracles, but not studying and seeing them as evidence, which is something that we should be done. Am I understanding it correctly?
Thank you. You summarized it. MashaAllah. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah.
But the other friends here in the room, they can share their understanding, whether it is. Do you see, please, say, as this matter is as essential as I see it, transferring the history into practical life, updating it and making it applicable to my life? Otherwise, I'm not interested in history, what happened during the life of the Prophet, none of my business. I have my own problems. Why do I exist here? But 1400 years ago, somebody demonstrated some miracles and people were really amazed by them. So what? What is my problem? What is the meaning of life for me? It becomes irrelevant. That's why this is essential, to know the life of the Prophet, to know what the Quran, how the Quran really presented to the people in its own revelation, time and geography. This is important, but it is not important in and of itself. We have to transfer it to our life, time and space-wise, and make it applicable to me. Otherwise, it becomes an encyclopedic information. And being proud of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. You see, Jesus showed miracles. How many of them? 10. Muhammad, 1,000. Boom. Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam is more important than Jesus. Stupid claim. So what? What do they benefit from it? So really, it is important to pay attention to this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Suhail, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, just to bring up the Christian aspect and that, I mean, Christianity took Jesus, or people really took Jesus' miracles for itself and just ascribed it to him and made him the point. And so therefore made him God, so to speak, or son of God or whatever. And completely missing the point of what is in other words, there's nothing actually being understood from it, or there's nothing meaningful. It's, oh, Jesus walked on water, or Jesus cured the blind, or Jesus rose from the dead. I mean, so what? So that's great. And then he's your savior. So that doesn't mean anything. It's completely external, some sort of information. So I remember we're saying. So in this regard, like, yeah, I agree with like the emphasis on prophetic miracles. I don't understand why there is a point to it. If the emphasis is, look at what Muhammad did, so what? You know, first of all, he didn't do it, so why are you giving him credit for it then? That makes no sense to me. But second of all, then okay, that's great. But I remember saying I don't see the applicability in life, except save that from the point of view of, oh, I should take him seriously. That his Lord, or has completely altered the nature of the universe or the order for this one message. I mean, that doesn't happen with anything else in life, that the order is the order, in the sense that no one is changing the underlying order, that I don't see that. But in this one occurrence, something that I'm completely used to in life is being changed. That's unusual. So what is the point of that? That's, you could argue, the most important thing in the universe if the entire universe is being changed uh, for this one person, one individual. And I guess in the same sense, the Quran, in the same sense, you could say the only book, the only book to ever be claimed as revelation to be preserved for everyone's understanding. That's a serious thing because no other revelation can lay claim to that. So why is it so important that it's preserved? Like, what's in there that somebody or I need to know or understand? Um, Otherwise, I completely miss the point. Um, and then as Ali Imran was saying, understanding it from the point of view of how it relates to the universe or how it makes sense of the universe. Um, because in that sense, the creator is showing that's the most important aspect of the universe, is for man to make sense of it, and therefore to know what his purpose in life is.
Thank you for sharing that, Sohail. Yeah, so it has to be applicable, relevant in this day and age to us as well. Any other comment by anyone who would like to share anything? All right, so we will continue. Where was I? So he brings forth water from wherever he wishes. He even makes his fingers like a spring of Kosar and gives to drink from them. So look at his sign, an important lamp. I think lamp is signifying the miracle of the moon. The important lamp is the moon, which split into two halves at his indication. That is, as Maulana Jami said, with the pen of his finger, that unlettered one, who knew no writing, wrote an aleph on the page of the skies and made 140 250s. That is, before it split, the moon resembled, what's that, meme, the value of which is 40, and after splitting it became two crescents and resembled two noons, the value of which is 50. So one interpretation of how he saw, Maulana Jami saw that, this miracle of the lamp splitting, but it should be relevant to as we've been discussing, to us, looking at the moon and seeing the phases of the moon, how they are happening, what it means to me, who is as a sign pointing to its owner, the Lord of the universe, the Malik and Malik, the one sustaining it, maintaining it, owning it, as well as maintaining it. So the important lamp in the dome of this palace splits into two. That means this country, together with all its beings, recognizes that he is an official and envoy. Recognizes that he is an official and envoy. They heed and obey him, as though knowing that he is the most eminent and true interpreter of an unseen displayer of miracles. So whatever the message he is bringing is the interpretation of the acts or the miracles that we see around us in the universe, the way things are coming into existence, the way they are changing. Unseen displayer of miracles. So all those miracles point to him, the unseen displayer. It doesn't say God or anything, but whoever he is, the one who is changing. This king, that is Malik. And the herald of his dominicality, the discloser of his talisman, and a trustworthy envoy, delivering his commands. All those with intelligence around him declare, yes, that is right, about everything he says and affirm it. Indeed, through submitting to his signs and commands, the mountains and trees in this country and the huge light that illuminates it say, yes, yes, everything you say is true. So the huge light is the sun when it reappeared from the east on the earth's revolving backwards. Imam Ali, may God be pleased with him, who has been unable to perform the prayer since the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was sleeping in his arms. Due to this miracle, was able to perform the prayers on time. One of the famous narrations, I think, that some of us may have heard. So mountains and trees in the country and the huge light that illuminates it say, yes, yes, everything you say is true. So all the things in the universe, the beings, the mountains, the sun, the moon, the sky, stars, confirm that the message that this envoy, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, is conveying. My foolish friend, could there be any contradiction or deception concerning the miracle displaying king, about whom this most luminous, magnificent, and serious being, who bears 1,000 decorations particular to the king's own treasury, is speaking with all his strength, confirmed by all the country's notables, and concerning the king's attributes which he mentions, and the commands which he relays. So is there any contrary to the truth in these things? It will be necessary to deny this palace, these lamps, this community, both their reality and their existence. If you can raise any objections against these, but you will see that they will be smashed by the power of the proof and flung back at you. So that is the 11th proof. So any comment by anyone to add anything that we discussed? Anything new that they found in this passage that was read? Continuing with all the miracles, so seeing the creation of these things as signs indicating the king's attributes and his commands, which are conveyed by looking at the universe. So that's why the message has to be studied seriously. All right, should we move on to the 12th proof then? All right, 12th proof. Come, my brother, who has come to his senses a little. I shall show you a further proof of the strength of the 11 preceding proofs. So 10 proofs on the universe, 11th on the messengership of Muhammad. Now he's going to the 12th proof. In addition to those 11 proofs, so now he's saying, see this luminous decree. The luminous decree refers to the Quran and the seal on it to its miraculousness, which descends from above and which everyone looks on in rapt attention. Basically amazing or fascinating way, grabs one's attention out of either wonder or veneration. Oh. The one with the 1,000 decorations has stopped by it and is explaining its meaning to everyone. The styles of the decree so shine, they attract everyone's appreciative gaze. And it speaks of matters so important and serious that everyone is compelled to give ear to them. So the styles in this decree, this message of the Quran, attracts everyone's attention, gazes, because it speaks of matters so important and serious for the human being, but that everyone is compelled to give ear to them. For this decree describes all the qualities, acts, commands, and attributes of the one who governs this whole land. So it describes all the qualities, acts, commands, and attributes of the one who governs this whole land. So the Lord of the universe, the Malik, the Malik, the one who owns and maintains this land. All his qualities are acts are described. Who made this palace and exhibits these wonders. Just as there is a mighty stamp on the decree as a whole. So a mighty stamp on the decree as a whole. Look, there is an inimitable seal on every line and every sentence. And moreover, the meanings, truths, commands, and instances of wisdom, it states, are seen to be in a style particular to him, thus bearing the meaning of a stamp. So this mighty stamp shows that it is the owner of the universe that is mentioning all this, or whose message it is, describing himself or his work, through his work, his attributes, his qualities, acts, commands, and attributes of the one who governs the whole land. Any comment on this paragraph by anyone? So this 12th proof is on following the message of the prophet, necessary need of the prophet. Now it's the decree, the message itself that is supposed to grab our attention and wonder and veneration. We are supposed to be connected to it, attract everyone's appreciative gaze, and see them answers to human questions matter so important and serious that everyone is compelled to give ear to them. I mean, I understand the importance and significance of this. But what is going on in the world right now is very surprising and sad in a way. Brother Ali, go ahead.
Now, in this sentence, where was it? It describes, just under the, yeah, exactly. It describes all the qualities, acts, commands. Now, what do you think the pronoun, or, yeah, is it a pronoun? Yeah, it refer to?
The decree, the Quran, the message of the Quran. Because he's using the word decree in this paragraph a lot.
So
Yes.
all the decree, this, why decree was important so far? Because we received this decree from the prophet, and prophet was given miracles from the universe. So we have to see the connection between the universe, the prophet, and the Quran, and understand the qualities, acts, commands, attributes of the one who is governing this universe, whole place, and using it as an exhibition hall. This connection is important, I think, for us. Use the universe in order to understand acts, commands, and attributes of the one who owns the universe. Look at the prophetic miracles as the performed on created by the one who owns the universe. And the mission of the prophet is confirmed in his age through these miracles. And it is important, the main mission of the prophet is to convey the Quran to us through practicing it in his life. So they are all tying each other, inshallah, in our understanding. Inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum.
Inshallah, yes. So they're all tying each other, as you said, about all the universe, the message of the prophet, and the scripture decree, the message in the Quran, which is also describing the qualities, acts, commands, and attributes of the one who governs the land, made this land, taking care of it, and exhibits all these wonders that we are experiencing. So this mighty stamp was an interesting part also. So just like on the universe, there's a stamp, right? And on the decree as well, and even the miracles of the prophets, there is that stamp as well of the one who is making it happen, the one who owns and maintains, commands the truths, whatever meanings, truths, commands, instance of wisdom, it states, and seen to be in a style particular to him. All right, so in short, the supreme decree shows the supreme being as clearly as the sun, so that anyone who is not blind can see it. So seeing this fact that the supreme decree shows the supreme being as clearly as the sun. So just like the universe shows that, the message of the prophet also points to that, but the supreme decree clearly declares it. Straight away says that I am the one who is doing it, clearly as the sun, so that anyone who is not blind can see it. My friend, if you have come to your senses, this is enough for now. If you have something to say, say it. In reply, the obstinate man said, I can only say this in the face of these proofs of yours. All praise be to God, for I have come to believe. and I believe in a way bright as the sun and clear as daylight, that this country has a single king of perfection, this world a single glorious owner, this palace a single beauteous maker. May God be pleased with you, for you have saved me from my former obstinacy and foolishness. Each of the proofs you showed was sufficient to demonstrate the truth. But because with each successive proof, clearer, pleasanter, more agreeable, more luminous, finer levels of knowledge, whales in acquaintanceship and windows of love were opened and revealed. I waited and listened. So the story in the form of a comparison indicating the mighty truth of divine unity and belief in God has reached its conclusion. All these proofs that have been connecting the things in the universe along with the prophetic message and the Quran shows that the mighty truth of divine unity and belief in God. So this is the conclusion that one should arrive at as a free-thinking, reasoning human being. Through the grace of the most merciful, the effulgence of the Quran and the light of belief, we shall now set out 12 flashes and an introduction from the sun of true divine unity corresponding to the 12 proofs in the story. Success and guidance are from God alone. All right, so Alhamdulillah, we completed this first station with all these proofs. And Brother Ali, please go ahead.
In the beginning of, in short, there is an expression used here. The supreme decree shows the supreme being as clearly as the sun that anyone who is not blind can see. Now, it seems to be great for us, but some people also say the same thing. The supreme decree, I think the Quran on the one hand, and witness of the Quran, the universe, both shows the supreme being. So they say, they claim nowadays very widely received by the people that the universe is equal to God, because that is how God presented himself to us. So instead of having this concept of God, because it is beyond our comprehension, and I don't know, but I know the universe. Even if you need to believe in God, the universe is enough. So be in harmony with the universe, and that is the purpose of the universe, creation or existence of the universe, depending on one's understanding. And if you obey the order of the universe, even if there is a God, you will be obeying the order of the creator of this universe, God. So it looks very wonderful and attractive. So what people do now, look at the universe and see it is well ordered, meaningful, full of wisdom, etc. No, all the qualities. So, and also go back to themselves and see human feelings. Oh, they are also really interacting with the whole universe, and deducing some information from the universe. Now, so far, it seems to be consistent. So I have to follow the order of the universe by using my huge human capacity to cooperate with it, to act together, not to contradict the order of the universe, and reach nirvana. Here we are. That's not. So forget about God and his message to me and says, you have to pray, you have to do, you have to do this and that. No, I have that my feelings are enough, and the universe is enough for me also to communicate with, and that is my belief. That is my understanding. So I'm consistent, am I not? Seems to be consistent, correct. But we have to understand that human feelings work through human free will. Human free will is not the criterion. Yes, feelings may function as criteria, but human free will cannot be in and of itself a criterion. Why? These feelings are under the command of human free will. So while we are communicating with the universe and obeying the order of the universe, my free will may interpret it in a wrong way. So I have to have another criteria to check with. This another criteria is not dumb silence like the universe. Universe in its existence, for example, my classical example is always useful. When you look at a piece of art, you interpret the piece of art and be harmonious, be in harmony with it. But do you know what is the purpose of the artist of this piece of art? I don't know. How do you think he or what do you think he meant by making this art? I don't know. I am interpreting it, but why not to ask the artist, what did you mean with this piece of art? For what purpose did you make it? We need to investigate the source of existence and also bring the source of existence into the equation, which is human feelings, the universe, the owner of the universe, and his guidance. Now, by saying that I am satisfied with the universe and my own human feelings, we are denying the free choice that we are given. We may, for example, but when you look at, for example, attitude of some people, and I may interpret it as a good man, another person may interpret it as a bad man. So which one is true? So I have to find out first, question first, does this universe and me do both of us, universe and me, and my feelings, of course. What I mean, me means my feelings here in this context, but he is another part of universe. So my feelings and universe, correct, and universe, I have to question whether they exist by themselves or not, and come to a conclusion whether it existed by itself and accidentally developing and changing perfectly like this If you can buy this, choose this idea, go ahead with it. I cannot go ahead with it. I cannot explain this wonderful human spirit, feelings, and wonderful creation that happened to be by itself. It must have a creator. So bring this creator in the equation, like in the example of artists. Ask them, why did you make this? How did you make this? What did you mean really to make this wonderful universe and me and put us in equation? Why? What is the purpose? That's what we had been today reading. Communicating through the king of the universe, as the text put it. It means Malik of the universe, owner and administrator of the universe, sustainer of the universe, and bring him into equation saying that, please explain to me, how did you make it? Why did you make it? And what is the purpose are you expecting me to fulfill through my free will? Which way I should choose? It seems to be, some people say it is happening by itself. Some people say, no, it is a creator. But these clever people, you know, this, especially Buddhists, say, I don't care. As long as I am in harmony with the universe, that is the purpose and fulfill. But they always neglect free will. Those materialist interpreters of the universe also do the same thing. They always neglect the reality that the universe is teaching me. I am the result of a free choice of a conscious being. They never mention this. They are so clever, and some people are so stupid to swallow it. It must be the result of a free choice, conscious choice. Everything is arranged perfectly. Everything is perfect with their own, in their own existence. It is purposefully done, and it needs choice. Matter or accidental development is accident. Accident cannot have choice. If there is a choice, it is not accident, it is chosen. How do you explain the universe? There is no answer in materialist philosophy or interpretation. This point is important, and this is the jumping point for me to question the source of existence of myself and of the universe, and bring him into equation. It means me, universe, and the creator. What are they saying? In order to listen to the creator, I have to bring the messenger, the one who brings the creator's message to me, the decree to me, his decree to me, the prophet. So 4 elements must be working together, and Buddhism have 2 elements only. We have to be careful. Christians have 3 elements. What is that? Universe, human beings, and a kind of being, Jesus, who is the savior, not the one who teaches me how to choose, how to perform, how to use my free will. Jesus in Christianity, in Christian form, doesn't teach me how to use my free will. We have to watch out. Submit yourself, finish, to me, and accept me as your Lord. Okay, finish. How do I really interpret the universe? No, nothing. Nothing. Only Quran does this. Really, it is important, inshallah, to notice this. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I spoke as usual long. I'm excited, that's why. Otherwise, if I don't see these kind of discussions essential, I wouldn't mention. Inshallah. Inshallah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think you made a very interesting point here, actually. So the four elements, can you elaborate on them? So one is human beings, so the feelings can get tainted by the free will. That's one thing. The universe is dumb, and one, of course, it cannot speak much, but feelings and universe, although convey the message, but there's a criteria that I need to check. So that's why I need God comes into the picture, the maker, the owner of the universe, the one who's maintaining it. Is that the third element? And then what he says is the fourth. Are you there, Brother Ali?
Sorry, I didn't really understand this. This one I was silent.
Sorry, yes. So the point is about the two elements you said about the human element has feelings, and then there's the free will as well. So feelings can get tainted by the free will in terms of how they're interpreting whatever is the feelings are saying. And so the universe also doesn't say much. It shows the harmony, one can live with that. But then there's a missing element of the criteria of how do I confirm how to use my free will, which is the element of the owner of the universe, the Lord of the one who made the universe to speak to me. And then what he says also, so in terms of guidance that comes to me to how to use my free will is needed.
And also by using my free will, how to communicate with the universe so that I will make a right choice. Yeah, if I don't know the purpose of the artist, how can I interpret the universe and communicate with it without contradicting the message I get through the universe? Now, I can interpret every event as I want, but another element in the equation is needed. The artist should speak to me and introduce himself to me in a way that I understand with my language. So I interrupted you, but I think I got the point. But
yes, thank you. That's what I meant. Appreciate that. Thank you for clarifying. All right, so we can stop here, and then inshallah we will continue next time.
So the conclusion of today's discussion is, inshallah, we will continue next. And tomorrow also we will be together again, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Now, the conclusion is we should never, ever, ever neglect that we have free will. All the choices we are making, if it is from ourselves, it must be questioned. It needs another criterion to check with. So we need to educate ourselves how to reason alongside with the Quranic message. How God introduces himself to me, how God tells me why he created the universe, how he created the universe, so how he created me, why he created me, and how can I make right choice in order to live in this world with my perfect satisfaction in this world as much as possible. So anything, I should never neglect my free will. And I understand lots of people, including myself and the people in general, come to a conclusion and say, this is true, this is wrong. I do the same thing. I'm not excluding myself. But while I'm claiming this is true, I forget that it is my choice, can be right, can be wrong. How about our belief in God? Yes. Do we really believe in God as he deserves to be? No. That is why we have to work on it continuously, check, always check ourselves. I said this, okay, what is the truth in it? What is evidence for it? Let me look for the evidence. Continue. That is why we cannot absolutely be sure about our claims, including our claim to believe in God. Absolutely, fully correct. No. We have to admit that. But I am on this way. So far, it seems to be the only best option. So go ahead with it. But I should never forget the Quran and the Prophet's performance to consult with as well. They must be within the elements of my equation of truth, my truth, of course, my truth. We shouldn't speak. I learned the Quran is saying this. This is absolutely true. No, why? Because it's God. No, God is speaking in the Quran, but you are understanding it within your capacity with your free choice. Can you make absolutely sure your interpretation and understanding of the Quran is correct? No. Is there any absolute security in our conclusion? No, we are created beings. That is why we have to acknowledge we are always needy, not doubtful whether my way is right or no. So far, it looks the better way, better choice. I will follow it, unless otherwise proven. Okay, if you prove, I wouldn't do that. I would go back, turn my face to the other side. Otherwise, don't claim that I am absolute, the criterion of truth, and also I am not sure. I don't know. Leave it. Because no one can be sure. No. Make a decision. Go along with it. Unless otherwise it is proven, continue, but at the same time, don't claim to be perfect. Yep. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah, thank you. All right, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma alamtana. Innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bi hurmati surat al-Fatiha.